So RBA player LeBron James, LeSweet and Down Low James, who's famously known now for getting his back blown out at the Diddy parties, pause, allegedly. One More Lie James, LeBron James, who holds the record and stat for most lies told in RBA history. Spider Woman James, who has got caught up again in his web of lies. But oh man, LeBron James is back in hot water. LeBron James, you know you done messed up now. So a post just resurfaced of some comments from LeBron James stating that his 2008-09 team, he felt that was the best team ever built since he had been drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that team he felt was perfectly equipped to defeat the Boston Celtics super team that played a part and LeBron James taking his so-called talent to South Beach. But here's what LeBron James had to say. This article is per Yahoo Sports via Basketball Network, and the headline reads, LeBron James saw the 2008-09 Cavaliers as his first true title team. Quote, the deepest and most talented team we've had since I've been here, end quote. So the article goes on to say, LeBron James saw the 2008-09 Cavaliers as his first true title team, the deepest and most talented team we've had since I've been here. The article goes on to say, winning championship titles is never a one-person show. Even the greatest players need the right teammates around them, and it's up to the front office to make that happen. Back in the summer of 2008, the Cleveland Cavaliers made some bold moves which had their star player and basketball legend LeBron James giving his approval. Even though Boston, who went on to become RBA champions, was a respected opponent to lose to, the defeat still highlighted how badly Cleveland needed to improve their roster to compete at the highest level. In the following weeks and months, the responsibility for achieving that fell mainly on then general manager Danny Ferry and owner Dan Gilbert. Media outlets like ESPN suggested that Cleveland's roster changes might follow the Celtics formula for championship success from the previous year. It says that the Cavs moved quickly. They traded a 2009 second round pick for the rights to forward Darnell Jackson and brought in big man Sasha Khan from Seattle to add size. It says even better, the RBA superstar recognized the Cavs management had been as busy as he was since falling to the Celtics in the previous playoffs. In fact, he saw they had done an outstanding job strengthening the roster. He said, quote, this is the deepest and most talented team we've had since I've been here, declared LBJ per ESPN. He says this is the most excited I've been going into a season. We have a great chance to compete for a RBA championship. He then says, quote, there are no excuses for us now, said the Ohio native. We should be able to go out and dominate. Wow, that is a bold, massive statement. It even goes on to say Mike Brown's team finished with a franchise best 66 wins and 16 losses. Man, I swear, LeBron James is just making our jobs easier by the day. I mean, it's literally getting to a point where LeBron James is being exposed, and he's exposing himself for the lies that the media has constantly pushed over the years just to sell this false narrative that LeBron James is somehow MJ's equal. They always went out of their way to gloss over LeBron James' shortcomings and have his fans constantly make excuses for him, right? But studying LeBron James's mannerisms and his body language after his team loses games, it should be very telling and something that the media or the bronzexual gang, the LBJTQ, should take into consideration when they always run with these excuses, always run with the excuse that LeBron James had no help every time he loses in the RBA finals. Because if you have the attitude of, oh, it's just a basketball game and it doesn't matter to you that much and you don't take it that serious, then that means that the game really doesn't matter to you. It don't mean much whether you win or lose as long as you got your numbers, so the fans can run with that built-in excuse that LeBron James ain't had no help. With that being said, maybe we need to change the discussion to, oh, maybe LeBron James just gave up in the fourth quarter, because according to these comments, LeBron James had all the help that he needed. I mean, look at the receipts. Analyze the receipts like you're about to go get a refund. The man literally said he felt like this team should be able to dominate. So you were that confident. So if you had the best team around you and the front office put a great team around you, shouldn't there have been enough confidence and faith that they can always put talent around you moving forward? It's a bold statement because that would mean that you felt that, one, this team was better than your previous team in 2007, that very same team that had advanced to the NBA Finals and lost to the San Antonio Spurs. Secondly, this means that there is no excuse for losing to the Orlando Magic that year, who you supposed to be the best player in the universe. You had 2 regular season MVPs at the time, and you had finals experience from that previous year. But let's break this down. If you thought that the 08-09 team were built to beat the Celtics, then how is it that you didn't even have to face that Celtics team because the Orlando Magic had already taken care of business that year and beat that Celtics team? So if you felt your team was built to beat the Celtics and built to dominate, then how is it that you were unable to defeat the Orlando Magic, who were not on the Celtics level? So the bigger question then becomes, LeBum James, if you felt that the Cavs 08-09 team was the best team ever built at the time, then why did you run to Miami for help? In your own words, you said no excuses. Shouldn't you have confidence in the front office to continue to put a championship contender team around you? I mean, they got you to the finals in 07. You literally advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals every single year. But your problem wasn't the Celtics, because how could your problem be the Celtics when you couldn't even get past the Magic? But you know what I really think was your biggest problem? You know who I really think you was really fearful of? I think it was actually Kobe Bryant who you were avoiding. Yes, Kobe Bryant. You knew that on that huge stage with the puppet commercials and everybody having these high expectations, you felt the pressure with the conversation being had of who's the second GOAT to Michael Jordan. You felt that if you advanced to the finals and went up against Kobe, that Kobe would embarrass you on a worldwide stage, and then the conversation will be changed to maybe Kobe is in fact the heir apparent to Michael Jordan. And you didn't want that. And now hearing what Dwayne Wade said, it's really starting to look like LeBron James purposely avoided Kobe, which has me thinking, with all the power that LeBron James and his Clutch Sports team had in controlling the media, your team and the higher ups had Nike paying media pundits to call you the GOAT and sell this false narrative that LeBron James is in a conversation with Jordan. Then not to mention, in hindsight, all the trades that you were able to pull off playing with the most all-stars in NBA history. It's really starting to look like you were actually the one put in a call to have the RBA veto the Chris Paul trade, because you felt threatened. But with those comments by LeBron James, believing that he had the best team built in 08 and 09, wouldn't it prove that Dan Gilbert was right about LeBron James? That LeBron James did in fact quit on his team in the fourth quarter against the Boston Celtics back in 2010. Maybe Dan Gilbert wasn't butthurt because LeBron James left, and that's why he made those comments. But day by day, LeBron James is dispelling all the media narratives that the people ran with for years. But what I don't understand is, how can you hear something like this from LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith, and still consider LeBron James the second greatest player of all time, but had so much help, but came up short the most?